COVID crisis is something that has made the world worried. We know that India is reaching out to various countries for a joint strategy and also reaching out to its citizens who are stranded in foreign lands. With me is India's envoy to Ukraine. So, welcome to Beyond. My first question, an obvious one, is how Indian mission is reaching out to the stranded Indian citizens in the country.
Good afternoon, Sidhant, and a very good afternoon to all your viewers on Beyond. Ukraine has a certain number of characteristics which are special to this country, primarily being that it's the student population here that we are catering to. We have about 15,000 students, or most of them studying medicine here. And as you can understand, the anxiety was amplified at both sides, back in India by the parents, the students themselves here in Ukraine. So, of course, we used all the social media messaging platforms, and at the same time I myself went online and conveyed all the programming that we were doing for their safety as well as potential movement. But we also utilized the Ukrainian authorities to transmit messages of comfort and care. So in that connection, I met with the central government authorities, with the state government authorities, and we reached down to the local governments too, and amplified messages from them for the safety and concern and security of the Indian students. And I must say things have been fairly okay till now.
So we know that a number of repatriation flights are going to Ukraine. They'll be coming back to India with the stranded Indian citizens. So if you can talk about that, how many flights are expected and how many students have registered and are expected to come to India?
Well, as of now, we have more than 14,000 students registered, but that's an intention. Actual numbers we are manually sorting out because we have a large number criteria list to determine the necessity of students going back. And of course, the other limitation is the number of flights. We are starting from 25th of May. We have 6 flights lined up, both to South India and to North India. And what I have tried to do is take out students from the red zone areas of Ukraine. These are about 4 zones in Ukraine. They have about 5 to 6 universities. And the attempt is to remove students and give them the opportunity to go back, those who feel insecure. Of course, the stranded passengers in Ukraine and the emergency categories health, both at home or with themselves, they will also get priority. But this is how we are pacing it. I think we will need a large number of flights given the number of students concerned here. So this will be an ongoing operation for quite some time.
Ongoing operation. So how are both countries collaborating, perhaps talking to each other over this crisis? Because we know India has been reaching out to countries at multilateral forums, whether it is SAARC, whether it's G20. So any special plans between New Delhi and Ukraine?
Well, of course, both governments have been in touch regarding the COVID and as well as its response. Just like in India, we've followed a very regimented lockdown measures. In Ukraine too, it was very strict. The lockdown was strictly enforced. It was also strictly complied by the people of Ukraine, and we have exchanged experiences. But a critical part of this collaboration was in the pharmaceutical sector. As you know, India is one of the largest pharmaceutical suppliers to Ukraine. We play a big and important role in their access and accessibility program and of medicines in Ukraine. And so I got a request from the Foreign Minister Kuleba himself, requesting for HCQ, hydrochloroquine tablets, and other such antiviral medicines, which the government of India was very gracious in not only gifting it free on humanitarian grounds, but also allowing the companies of Ukraine to import it. This was very well appreciated, and also it sent a message to all the Indian citizens here that, well, we are helping Ukraine to stock up in terms of prophylactic and medicinal requirements, and helped in allaying a lot of concerns. So yes, this collaboration has been going on at various levels.
And so my final question to you is, how has been the ground situation in the country? How are the Indian diplomats faring? I mean, is it creating a problem when it comes to doing or reaching out to the Indian citizens, or the government is making sure that there are exceptions so that you can do your daily jobs?
I must thank the Ukrainian authorities. They have been extraordinarily cooperative in every request that we have made. They are aware that the Indian community here is not only a strong community, but a very value-driven community. And on top of that, the Indian students, which is a big segment, both in terms of bolstering their educational capacity and sector, but also purely in terms of revenue. So therefore, the Ukrainian authorities were allotted to all these characteristics, and their reaction and facilitation and cooperation has been very, very good. So this kind of helped into the narrative of how to control and how to assuage and finally help the Indian citizens move back. Of course, the students here have to give exams. These are medical exams, so these are very technical exams. There are qualifying exams, so therefore they will take a considered decision regarding when exactly they will move. But definitely from the red zone areas and the stricken areas of Ukraine, there will be movement. Ukraine, on its part, has been very strict in enforcing lockdown and quarantine measures because they thought this was the best way to stop the spread of the pandemic. They were also concerned because a large number of Ukrainians work abroad, especially in the stricken countries like Poland, like Italy, like Spain, and they were all coming back. So they had to take these measures, and these lockdown measures have helped. And now things are easing up. And I hope if there are no further spikes in infection rates, then maybe things will get even easier as we proceed with time and days.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for speaking to WION on what the mission is doing, how many Indians are expected to come back, and also on the repatriation measures in which Ukraine is in the second list.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.